Our first series of the day goes all the way as we're setting up for game number 5. Team Liquid and Fnatic tied 2-2. And one of our teams is going to walk away with the victory. And honestly, I don't mind either of them getting the victory here. Team Liquid has looked great, but so has Fnatic. We know how strong they can be with the MSB and such.
I don't mind them winning either. I mean, they played well. Fnatic, it would be a great story, them making it happen here. But just imagine Liquid again pulling ahead with a 3-0 in the standings. That would be quite a feat. Taking down Dignitas without dropping a map and defeating the mid-season Brawl champion. But Fnatic isn't done yet. So they lost the last map, and therefore they have now map choice or first pick, first ban. So they have a slight advantage going into the 5th.
Well, let's figure out the battleground that we're going to and see which advantage will be coming here for our teams. It's gonna be Cursed Hollow, Team Liquid with the pick. So Fnatic will get first pick, first ban.
Another map where Liquid loves to play the Vikings. They really like to do that with Hazobs to an extent where in the past when they got the Vikings, they said, when we had the pick, we already knew this is over. We know that Hazobs is going to carry us. That's of course not true for every single game that they're going to play on this map, but it's one of the things when you are Fnatic, you're looking at the battleground and you know, okay, we have to at least talk about the possibility of Team Liquid picking the Vikings. So do we ban them or are we okay facing them?
Yeah, it's another tool in the tool belt, essentially, here for Team Liquid. It's a threat that's really a major thing here for Fnatic, and they have to be willing to use that threat in the draft phase. So we'll see if they'll be able to pick it up on it or, of course, ban it out here for Team Liquid. Regardless, with it being game number 5, Cursed Hollow, it's a great one to end the day on here for our teams. So, going straight into it, first ban of the day will be going over to Fnatic. What will they get rid of? Global is always a possibility, but Mouthfeel is starting to become a real threat here, as Team Liquid did really well with them in the last game.
Yeah, it's also a really good tool if you want to take bosses, so that's something they have to consider. The first thing though is Illidan. He is one of the heroes that benefited the most on the last 2 weeks. Especially the double support meta enables him to do so much more. And Fnatic, while failing to win with him on Battlefield of Eternity, still respects him enough to first ban him against Liquid, making sure that Liquid cannot play that comp again that was successful for them in the earlier games today.
And with it being Cursed Hollow, we were talking about Vikings, we talked about Dahaka, Illidan. There's still another threat, the Worm itself, Abathur, on this battleground. He's such a good pickup that you have to think about him. And Dahaka is Fnatic showing they are thinking about him. Dahaka is one of the great pickups to try and slow him down and make sure that he's not overextending in those pushes.
Let's also not forget that both Liquid and Fnatic won when they had Dahaka. So Dahaka had a huge impact on the last 2 games, and especially in Fnatic's case, the plays that Wooby set up on Towers of Doom were phenomenal. So now they have that tool available again. And on that map, they were also worried about potentially the Vikings being picked. So that's another thing to consider here. They seem to have one of those approaches where they say, even if they early pick them with the Haka, we can play around it. But overall, Wooby set so many fights up for them.
Now looking over to Fnatic, they have their Dahaka to set up for the rotations and the Wubby setup that's particularly is going to be coming in, but they got to think about what they want to move into. Fnatic has shown tendencies to move into global compositions, and now it's fallen off pretty dramatically, but this is a battleground. If we're going to see it, we might see the Falset come out. It gives you control in the battlefield and such.
Could be. I expect Uther to be taken first, but Falset is definitely one of the heroes that could be played on this one. Uther played with Diablo, early on taken, so do you threaten the Medivh at this point? What do you ban if you're Liquid? Because right now we've been talking about the synergy with Medivh and Diablo, especially when we're talking about Shrimpy. He has a great Medivh to an extent where Liquid banned it out before. So we could actually now see them struggle to find the appropriate ban here, since there's still a lot of tools that Fnatic is known for on the map.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain here thinking of other options. I mean, there's always a Greyman ban, but Medivh in itself, just with the lineup Fnatic has, is pretty darn powerful. You get the control around the boss with Leyline Seal, you have the APOC combo, you have the disengage and re-engage available for them. There is a possibility that Team Liquid can leave it up and take it for themselves, but with them having an Abathur and a Genji, the composition seems to be really hard to build out from here. So Medivh is the first one that just jumps out to me, and I feel like it's the only option.
I think they can also just simply try and ban a few of the backline heroes that dish out tons of damage. We can see Liming resets for example, Fnatic, but Medivh, as we kind of expected, is the ban then indeed. Fnatic, ban Malthael. I could have seen a Tyrael ban as well, Malthael still a very strong hero that they struggled a bit with in the last game, so they make sure that he is not going to become an option, especially with the Abathur hats once again. So let's see how exactly that's going to be played out from Team Liquid here.
Trends typically, when they have an Abathur, have lately pointed to them moving into the Abathur and Ariel as much as they can. They just get that pseudo support with the Abathur, and it works here too with the Genji. There is a Greymane on the board, but I think Fnatic's going to be getting that pickup unless Team Liquid feels pretty adamant of making sure to keep it out of Fnatic's hands. I think for them in particular, the way they play the game going into game number 5, Vala and Ariel make a lot of sense.
They could also head into a Liming if they want to have
True.
mass resets. We've seen the Genji Liming comp a lot, but they have the double support option here. They could play it with the Vala. There's a front line. We could see a Tyrael here, for example, if they want to play around Sanctification, around the boss pits then later. And they go for Muradin and Greymane. So Greymane, hat target, copy target, and Muradin to jump in deep. So solid setup for them.
Do we see... Okay, so the Abathur hat, great. We know it's amazing with Greymane. We know it's amazing with Genji. Can we maybe see the Muradin build with the Abathur, or do you think you just need the full tankiness to be alive here?
Oh, I would definitely say you make a few adjustments on Muradin just so that it was syncs better with Abathur.
Yeah.
You don't really have to make any adjustments with Abathur himself. You are going to have a heavy focus on attack speed, soma transference later on anyways with it. Muradin, I would expect, still picks up the Skullcracker on level 7 at least.
Sure.
And then if you're really worried about the damage later on, you can go in to give him the axe, but you can leave that open and just play it normal until then.
Well, Fnatic thinking about their 4th and 5th option. They move into Cassia, and the Brightwing comes out again here. So, Fnatic in a spot where they get solid engaged, but they also are in a spot where they kind of want to float around and work in the damage from afar and control that Greymane in particular. But I feel like in terms of macro, Team Liquid has a pretty good setup already. What are you smiling about?
I think I've seen this before.
Have you? Is it fun?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna talk about it if they do what I think they might. But
I mean,
I've seen something similar and it was pretty dirty. So we're just gonna wait until it actually happens. I don't want to spoil anything in case they don't use it. But I think it's a little bit different, but it might be.
Well,
we'll find out.
Karazim's the final pickup here for Team Liquid, looking to go toe-to-toe here with the punches. Multiple melee set up for Team Liquid as well, and they are all in on Cursed Hollow. If you look at the drafts right away, who do you think walks away with the victory, Kaldor?
Huh.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, especially since I really like what Liquid has here. I would actually say I believe in Fnatic's play around globals. I think they are the best team to make that happen and control the map. But what we are seeing for Team Liquid is fantastic, so I think Liquid has a really good shot taking this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Fnatic, and I could see a world where maybe they go like into Valkyrie stun, which would be incredible if they can get the lockdown. They have a lot of targets to do it on. Karazim makes that a bit harder with that 13 being picked up as such, but still, I'm excited for it. I think I lean towards Team Liquid a little bit more just because of Absur's strength on Battleground, especially with Genji being in the mix. He has way too many hat targets.
It's a great draft, for sure. It's definitely a draft that can blow targets up, and it's going to be rough for Liquid, for sure. Sorry, for Fnatic to really break through this.
Well, I'm excited for it. Team Liquid Fnatic game number 5. You at home, let us know what you think about this matchup. Who you think's going to walk away with the victory? Hit us up on Heroes Esports on Twitter and use the hashtag HGC. We always love hearing from you guys, and we know you've been enjoying the series.
Also, while you're saying this, guys, if you are not following the Heroes Esports Twitter yet, you're doing it wrong. These guys are doing an amazing job, especially during the mid-season brawl. Whenever I have seen no other point where you can just simply jump in and get the atmosphere of a venue just by what they uploaded there, the memes that were put out there. So if you are interested in Heroes Esports at all, that's the Twitter to definitely follow, since they are doing just a fantastic job summing up series and keeping you up to date what is happening in games, what the crucial moments were, and when we are at an offline event also what the atmosphere on site is. So if you don't do that yet, check it out and make sure that you leave them a follow. They definitely deserve that.
Get on that follow train, man. It's going to be awesome. All right, guys, game number 5. It's time to start here. We're going to see which team is going to walk away with the victory. Team Liquid or Fnatic.
The final map of the series as Fnatic and Team Liquid clash once again. We have to the left side our Swedish boy band with Wooby on Dehaka, Breeze on Diablo, Quatnix on Cassia, Schwimpy on Brightwing, and Smexy on Uther.
On the right side, in the red, Nurok on Genji, Splendor on Karazim, Hasuabs on Abathur, Blumby on Muradin, and Darkmog will be playing Greymane.
Darkmog on the Greymane here, and I'm hyped for this one. A lot of globals that we currently have for Fnatic, so they can definitely play around those. Makes it also a bit more tricky for Abathur to stay safe on the map. So Hazops really has to think about, okay, where can I move out? Can I soak with my body on the map? Or am I running a risk of Dehaka sniffing out where I am and simply burrowing in and getting the kill, as he did on on Towers of Doom a little bit earlier today already?
And for Team Liquid, I'm trying to watch this this laning setup. How are they going to handle the pressure coming their way? So far, Wubby and Schwimpy are on the bottom, but that means that any of them can burrow out at any point. Cassia and Uther's on the top, which I assume after we have a clear on the bottom, Brightwing should head that top lane and really make it a 3-man for that top lane. So Cassia can move in and break down the turrets. Team Liquid, on the other hand, they're holding off pretty well in terms of the lanes. I want to see the pressure from Fnatic, see if they can get some advantages on these turrets.
Schwimpy making his way now up to the top. Diablo holding the mid lane, but this is the tri lane. And Hazops is already moving up too, helping out with the Locust a bit and using the Symbiote immediately. But this is of course a lane where Fnatic is going to try and put up the pressure.
Yeah, it's all about mitigation for Team Liquid. How much can you make sure that your opponent doesn't get ahead in terms of control on the structures? And already you're seeing what Fnatic is pulling off, breaking down the turrets and such. At 2 minutes, we'll have the normal giant pressure that we'll see from our two teams, and it's all about the first tribute. Now, Wubby, low on health, is going to be possibly taken out. He has to drag on Genji, and he actually survives.
Wow! Wubby going full boss mode, and Nurok barely gets out of there. Darkmog and Nurok both nearly dying, and that was amazing by Wubby. He doesn't die and nearly forces them down. They're so low. They didn't die, but they have to back off, which allows the 3-man at the top lane to drop a fort. That was amazing by him.
Fnatic gets a 4, Wubby with the solid plays in the bottom. Now Team Liquid's answering back. They're breaking down the 4 in the bottom as well, but still a crazy exchange overall. And actually, they don't answer back enough. They get that 4 down to half health, and Fnatic takes a massive lead.
Yeah, because Greymane and Genji had to back off, so Liquid right now finds themselves behind in experience significantly in this situation. Wubby with fantastic play. Brightwing could even move down now to help him out and save the fort, but Blumby and Splendor are really trying to commit to it.
And the tribute will spawn on the bottom. No major saving grace here for Team Liquid. Brightwing is actually hunting Abathur in the top, and is going to start working on getting some damage here on the fort, and is continuing to keep up with it. Greymane's rotating in to help out with Brightwing.
Talking Greymane, let's not forget that he did not go into the cocktail build. He went Viciousness on level 1 and Thick Skin on level 4. So it's all about the engage in the fights here for him. Enabled later by the Abathur in particular. That's going to be the big deal. But once again, stun, smash. Whoa, they are really looking for Splendor here. Great coordination of their talents. They're not able to lock him down long enough for Quatnix to get the value of his Fenton, but they will secure the first tribute against the Abathur composition.
Yeah, Fnatic was allowed to be that aggressive in the bottom and go for that aggressive play, with Brightwing being on the top and Greymane up there hunting him as well. So Fnatic with a nice level lead, a fort taken out. They are sitting pretty at the moment as Team Liquid continues to hold on. Now, of course, with this great early game for Fnatic, there's always that mid-game for Team Liquid. Just need to make sure they get there without making any more mistakes. So Team Liquid should be in a solid spot overall.
And we did it in the past, but we have to highlight it again. With an Abathur composition, you are usually expected to suffer a bit in the early game. If you are able to pick up kills, then that's fantastic and you will snowball even harder. But with Abathur, you are waiting for level 10 when you have the ultimate evolution where you can head straight into a copy. That's when you have 5 health bars in the fights and you can finally engage into 5 versus 5 battles. Before that, Fnatic in this case is supposed to be the team who gets a lead. The biggest question oftentimes is, can you manage to get level 10 around the 3rd tribute so that you are not ending up with a curse against you? But so far, Fnatic has 1 tribute against 0, but we're already on level 7. Liquid is doing quite well so far.
Doing quite well in terms of hanging in there, but slightly behind in that fort and that tribute. The second one does spawn in the middle. top left side here for Fnatic, and they set up forward as Team Liquid's already moving into a really good spot. Blumby's grabbed the watchtower, Splinter's on the bottom right side, Breeze charges in and goes straight for Blumby. Polymorph out, here comes Quatnix for the damage.
A lot of free damage on Blumby here, and Wooby comes in from behind. They go for Blumby again. He tries to move out, gets stunned again, barely escapes, but Karazim has fallen. That's the kill that Fnatic wanted, and they get the second tribute as a result. Now, of course, Abathur has been attempting to soak some extra experience at the bot lane, but Breeze, he really showed that minion.
That minion taking a beating there from Diablo, and Breeze and the crew will push in the middle and use the last couple remnants of this mercenary camp to break down a fort and try to move towards level 9. As you mentioned, getting towards level 10 here for Team Liquid and get the ultimate evolution at the right point is their main goal. If the tribute spawns soon, they may have a hard time actually doing so, as Fnatic is looking to gain whatever lead they can.
Also, as expected, we have Muradin with Skullcracker. So he went into Skullcracker as the level 7 talent that gives him an auto attack speed bonus and also the mini stuns. And with Abathur, the added attack speed that you get and potential damage after level 16 is fantastic. So in case that you don't know about the synergy, on level 16 Abathur gets a talent where a spike burst slows targets down. Muradin gets a talent where attacks against slow targets do extra damage. So if you combine the two of them, and you use the symbiote for Muradin, you can really turn him into a monster. But of course, you give up a little bit of sustain for him. We're not there yet, we're at level 9, but it's something to keep in the back of your head since it is a possibility.
Splinter actually did finish that channel. He came out to heal Blumby, and this allows Fnatic to move in aggressively. Team Liquid was in a spot here where they could take that tribute and possibly just walk away and work towards level 10. And now Fnatic's in a spot where they can threaten a curse. Breeze charges in, lands the engage on Blumby, drag comes out from Wubby, and that's a kill.
Fantastic combo, really well done. Fnatic gets the kill. Schwimpy interrupting at that point actually his own channel. The early curses are usually not that strong. They scale better into the late game. But if you now get the value, then you can really snowball it from here. And with value, it of course, it's always, we're talking about structures. Ball of Lightning has been taken. We have Wooby in a bit of a pickle up here at the top. Goes for the essence. Brightwing comes in, helps out, but Darkmock is here too. That's a 2 versus 3. And the Emerald Wind saves Fnatic for now, as they are focusing onto the keep in the mid lane.
Yeah, Fnatic just moving in the fort in the middle, and you're right, the save there from Brightwing will be enough for them to keep up that experience. However, Brightwing using phase shift in that situation does negate the experience they could have grabbed in the bottom. Team Liquid grab the Giants, keep that minion wave pushing forward, so they can miss out on experience. Team Liquid now hitting level 10. Will they try to force a fight? Blumby is moving forward, and Greymane's on the rotation end.
X-Strike is also being used, so Genji is really starting to respect the amount of stuns and disables that we have on the side of Fnatic. It's another escape tool for him, and of course also quite nice damage if he can time it properly with a Cursed Bullet and maybe a stun on the side of Muradin. And isolation kills is what they would love to have here, especially since they went into the 7-sided strike now too. But here comes the stun, defend the damage, and Muradin barely jumping out. Splendor going in to heal him and nearly falling himself, but Hazops has the copy ready.
Splinter having the 7-sided strike can help out in the fight and burning down Breeze. Hasob's on the back left is completely being nullified here with Fnatic. It's kiting backwards. Finally, Blumby jumps in after tapping the well. Apocalypse will be used. Breeze low on health. X-Strike comes out. Can they get the kill? Schwimpy with the Emerald Wind will come down the drag from Wubby, and Team Liquid loses Genji.
Fantastic kill against Genji here, but they're not done yet. They are looking for another target, but Wubby misses the drag. But especially the Emerald Wind was so good here, isolating Genji, and they are going straight for the boss at this point. 3 kills against 0, and even with the Apocalypse not hitting anyone, it forced Liquid to just move out. They could not really stay there, so it was used as a bit of a zoning tool at this point. And now boss is taken. But Liquid, they know this, of course. They lost the hero. They know Fnatic's next move is going to try and take the boss. So they move to the top and they claim their own. They go for the exchange.
With Greymane being here as well, able to burn it down pretty quickly, get that top lane pushing. Fnatic does have the globals here, so they should be better in terms of defense. They can peel off the Haka, get him in the middle and the top lane to keep up with the soak, and also to deal with that boss on the top, while all the other members for Fnatic can group up in the bottom and push in, and they're doing so. They're breaking their opponents down. They have a talent advantage at the moment. Team Liquid is forced to bring everyone back to respawn.
Yeah, Fnatic with the talent advantage that you just mentioned, the level 13, they will be looking for fights. They will be trying to force a battle battle here. And from their boss that they just got, they are hoping to get a bit more than the fort alone. Wubi at the top is starting to defend, but if Fnatic sees an opportunity, they are going to attempt to move in and take the wall at least. So already, we're having Shrimpy in position. Keep in mind, he has the Emerald Wind, so he can always help his team disengage if Team Liquid all of a sudden tries to force the fight.
And that Emerald Wind's important too with Cassie. Cassie wants to get in there and bring this damage and force the fight, which puts her in a spot where she can be picked up, as you're mentioning. So Shrimpy and crew do step forward, they break down the wall. One turret still stands, but at least they've opened up that bottom area. If they get into a fight, take out 2 to 3 members, maybe a future boss, they can go for a keep.
And Breeze just walks into the brush the moment that Murden checks it with a Stormbolt, so he eats that damage. But yes, that is of course another really... You could see that Fnatic was trying to set a trap. And Team Liquid, they check the bushes. And this is one of the things that happens very rarely if you play public games, but it's extremely important in the setup since you know your opponent is waiting for that opportunity. So we see it more and more. Shrimpy providing vision on Brightwing, and they are already starting to zone around the Tribute. And without the level 13 talent, Liquid just isn't willing to take the risk of a fight. They know it's Fnatic's first Tribute, so they are willing to just say, you know what, take it. We need the level 13 talent, then we can talk, but right now we're not willing to take that battle.
Exactly. After can work on getting the experience here while they get mercenary camps, and they just try to take the next Tribute when they're around level 15 to 14, and they'll make a good spot to at least be on similar talents. Fnatic themselves answering back with their own mercenaries, grabbing Giant for that top lane as they defended that boss that pushed up pretty well. Their fort only went down to half health, and they want to make sure not to allow Team Liquid to get experience by pushing it back in. And speaking about Team Liquid, they're playing a bit aggressive here on the top. They're wanting to get this fort. That experience is too valuable for them.
They would love to get an isolation pick first of all, but you are completely correct. If they get the fort, they start to close the gap in experience because they are worried at this point. They would love to force a fight since they know if they don't do that soon, Fnatic is going to reach level 16 and will pull farther and farther ahead. And at one point, we're going to have the bosses back on the map. So that's another big factor.
Another big factor here. For teams, the fort falls down 15 to 14. Tribute on the bottom left. Oh, this is really painful for Team Liquid. Invading into this area is going to be a bit difficult as they come all the way from the top lane. Breeze catches out Blumby. 7-side strike comes out, but the heals for Diablo. A little bit too much there with that Devil's Due.
Yeah, Devil's Due are giving so much value. Apoc has done the kill. Murden is down.
Murden is down, and Fnatic is looking for extras here. They look at Hasuov on the left side. They go for it, going to clean up that Ultimate Evolution clone, which is going to be another body not available for Team Liquid, and Fnatic will easily grab the second Tribute here, and they can defend that bottom lane to get experience and move towards 16.
The disables on the side of Fnatic help them to control these fights so well. And right now, the level 16 talent that Fnatic is about to grab will boost them even more. So they are starting to push with the camp that they took earlier here in the middle, the few remainders that exist. Just any structure they can kill now is already going to help them significantly. So they are really attempting to just make sure that they get as much as possible out of the advantage that they just accumulated.
Team Liquid chasing forward here, hoping for something. Lands a Stormbolt, gets that cleanse popped out from Brightwing, which is pretty important for the next Tribute. They're going to have to fight, they feel like. If they lose out on that curse that comes in, they could lose out on keeps, maybe even the game if Fnac's able to get a pick. So Team Liquid with that Stormbolt forces cleanse.
Liquid hasn't won a Tribute yet this entire game. They haven't claimed a single one. Fnatic, with their globals, with the experience they were able to soak, and with all these disables, the crowd control during the team fights have put themselves in a fantastic spot where with a second curse, as you said, they could really start taking keeps. And this is also what they need to aim for. Liquid, it's going to be a rough choice if they want to go for the Tribute here or if they just let it slide. They are not going to... I don't think they have a chance of actually picking this up. Are they really going to take the 16 versus 13 talent fight?
Here comes the Haka. He brush talks in, and they're going to take the fight. Nurok's landed on here on the left side. Breeze moves in. Apoc has been used. Not going to connect with anybody, but Columbia in the front line is getting low on health. It's taking him out here as he's silenced.
Now once again, Murden about to fall. The stun into the wall by Diablo, and the kill against Darkmog. Not quite as he gets out, but still the counter kill against Brightwing carries him, though he's not getting away here. So it's a double kill, and the bosses are both on the map. They still want Norok, and they are about to get him. The red team is cursed. Fnatic has a big push at the bot lane already. Abathur the only one trying to defend it here, and Fnatic is straight heading that way, trying to get the keep. Big question now, of course, is still, can they get more? and they decide that they don't even need to move in. Only Wubi is making his way over. The rest of the team just says, we are going to get boss, and the only reason why you would get that boss is because you're trying to end.
Yep, and that's probably the plan here. They're going to move in for it, wait for Brightwing to pop up, phase shift in, and they can push as a unit of 5 into the bottom lane and look for the end of the game. Wubby secured that keep with that push overall. The bad thing about this, though, for Fnatic is it does give Team Liquid a chance to go into a fight. Can Team Liquid force a fight before this boss gets onto their core?
I think it's interesting that they take the boss here because they're so far ahead in experience. They could have just taken 2 keeps and then played around the bosses, exchange one for another, and wait for the 20. But they seem to be very, very confident that they can make that play work. They have a lot of tools that really work in their favor. Emerald Wind, for example, during a fight on the core, can push the opponent back and buy you precious seconds where you can put the damage in. But Fnatic really decided that they will be able to end with a boss, and that's what they have to show now.
They're all grabbed again here by Breezy, moves in, he's able to dash out while we have Blumby being focused down. Murden is just absolutely murdered here, and we're going to have more being taken out. Hasso from the clone being destroyed, as well as Greymane. That's 3 people down, 5 up. The boss is already on core, and Fnatic decisively can end this game.
Dominant! 10 kills against 1, and Muro who? I mean, he is known as one of the most unkillable tanks in the game, and he just didn't stand a chance in any of these fights. Fnatic moving in, and they are taking the series. It's a 3-2 victory as Fnatic takes down Team Liquid.
Fnatic with a 3-2 here. A solid series between our two teams. Fnatic walking away with the victory overall, but I'm glad to see Team Liquid go to a Game 5 with them. There were moments where Team Liquid really showed up here, and it's just good to see our top 3 in great condition across the board here.
Yeah.
Dignitas in a good spot, Team Liquid in a great spot, and Fnatic obviously here with a solid victory. Continues to be undefeated this season.
Fnatic definitely struggling a bit more in the series than they expected, but they just showed why they are the mid-season Brawl champion. And they took down Team Liquid. It's the first loss of Team Liquid in our season.
Yep, Team Liquid going to 2-1, fall slightly in those standings, but still a great one overall. And the exciting news is, even when we get done here with Fnatic and Team Liquid, we have more coming in the HGC. Stukov is up next, so we get to talk about him a little bit. Now, of course, we're going to have our interview with our winners first, get an idea of what they're thinking about the matchup. But EU continues to be such a treat to watch. Our top 3's in a great spot. Our newcomers have been great as well, Zealots and Good Guys. And Good Guys, we actually get to watch next.
Exactly. They are going to play in our next series. But I have to come back to this, that we seem to end up in... We have so many 5-mappers already in the season, and it's always on the highest level. It's just absolutely amazing to watch. And Fnatic just going in with the confidence on 16 versus 16 talents and saying, you know what, we just take the boss, we got this, Keep is already down, we are winning the team fight, and we're going to take it from there.
Nice play by Fnatic, and in fact, we have a member from Fnatic here, Schwimpy, here to talk about the matchup. Schwimpy, you guys walked with the victory over Team Liquid. Did you think you would go to a Game 5?
We know Liquid is a strong team, but I don't think we expected 5 games, maybe 4. A 3-0 is not realistic, but 4 games was probably what we expected.
I have to ask you, in Game 5, you guys pulled out the global strategy once again, and you guys are the best at executing that type of strategy overall. You guys coming into Game 5, did you feel like you'd be so decisive with your ending there? It just felt like you guys just shut down Team Liquid completely.
After the draft, I think we had no doubts. I think Uther Brightwing really counters Genji Abba pretty hard with the Emerald and the Uther stuff, so we expected a pretty easy game there.
Awesome. Well, last question before I let you go over to Caldor. Malthael now in the mix-up. Malthael, you guys saw him in this series a couple of times. What are you thinking? Where does he reside at? Is he a top pick, or is he just one of those heroes that we're going to start to figure out over the next couple of days?
I'm not sure people are used to him yet, but he feels really strong. Maybe when we go further and people actually learn how to deal with him, he might be a little bit weaker. But right now, he feels really strong, and also in Hero League, you know, that's pretty much all we can take from. He feels amazing in Hero League. Like, he 1 versus 5 sometimes. He's pretty strong.
Awesome. Very cool. Over to Caldor.
First of all, congratulations to the victory. I actually think that Tim already asked most of the things about the series. I see the trophy behind you there, and the first question I have, you guys promised a boy band video once that you take the title. When can we expect that?
I don't know. You have to ask Quack. Yeah, I don't know.
So, what song are you guys singing?
Also don't know.
I'm a
Quack
little
has all the
teapot,
info.
please.
What would be your favorite?
My favorite? Probably a One Direction song. Yeah.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Well, Schwimpy, thank you so much for your time. Before I let you go, do you have any shout-outs?
Which arm is it? This one? This thing? It's
That
pretty
one's
good.
right. You got
Monster?
it.
Yeah. And then to my team and everyone who cheered for us this weekend and also in Mid-Season Brawl, thank you very much. It means a lot.
Awesome. Schwimpy, short and sweet and to the point. Congratulations to Fnatic earning a victory over Team Liquid with a 3-2. Now, with that series out of the way, we got Stukov coming up. Wait, do you have something to say?
Yeah, do you think that Quacknix dodged the interview because he didn't want to talk about the boy band video?
Yeah, man, they're dodging like crazy, man.
Yeah.
They definitely have been picking up a few talents.
We are not forgetting. So, Quacknix, I know you're watching right now, and the rest of Fnatic as well. We still expect that video, and we expect it to be glorious.
It's going to be glorious. I can feel it already, man. Schwimpy's going to come in with the solo and just destroy it, man. His hair flying in the wind. It's going to be beautiful, man. I can't wait for it to happen. All right, so with Stukov coming up, we're going to be having an interview with the lead designer, Nathan. Gosh, I always mess up his last name. Masaguska. We're going to get it figured out because I feel so bad about it. And we're going to talk to him about the entire hero coming out. New support coming out for Heroes of the Storm. I know a lot of you support mains at home. First off, thank you so much for manning those supports. We love you so much. We're going to be excited about him.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching. It's going to be absolutely great, so I'm hyped for it as well. And I love that we are able to get the interview in here on the show.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
It's going to be super cool. All right, guys, we're going to do a commercial break. We'll be right back with said interview, and we'll give information about Stukov.